no smile and they never will. Only vultures that they fill empty promises is what they get. No running water from year to year. Hearts that no one desire. That if there is a Messiah, someday there will whisper prayer. Come out always parents, can't see 10 people in a one-bedroom shanty. Boss to sell on the pavement, no vacancy, no employment. Cattle firecracker from gunshot. That just know when things get hot. Afraid to look out the window. So your voice is strong. I hear you. Sing the chorus. Yeah. Oh. Voices from the ghetto. Crying. They're crying. Yeah. Voices from the ghetto. Mothers just hold the head and fall. And them woman stronger than a wall. A big pusher iron your daughter. Son in jail for manslaughter. Too bad for you, hear them brat boys no bail. That's the black man's choice. Like Shadow say, poverty is hell. Your little girl child belly start to swell. Some say life is a cycle, but don't draw she no circle. Now will it all end on time could tell. Outside the siren keep howling, inside your belly will growling. Oh, this way very often, since you mentioned a coffee. One night, in bed you're sleeping, next night is a way that you're keeping. So you pray to win the lotto, not to hear their voice. What they doing? I hear you. They're still crying. Yeah. Crying. Yeah, crying. Yeah. Tented pride they sold your on. Revolution made politicians born. And often their tragic story brings a journalist glory. No wonder they threw the world with scorn. Since the day they born, some call them rebels without a cause. These social victims of unjust laws. Yet they christen the heroes, renegades, desperados, forever knocking on heaven's door. Tell me, still that music shatters the silence. I'm on it to conquer the violence. Big men run when cops approach, fighting for scraps with the cockroach. The young Turks, they're tough protected. Almost every young girl expecting. So tomorrow, let's see tomorrow. Let the another child get to crying. Crying. Yeah, crying. Yeah. Give me the hope. Amenities don't heaven know. Opportunities, well, them always close. Can't get walk once in white collar. If I can't stretch me dollar, later from the crap or smoke me pipe. Santa short of death from gripe. Life does rape, dignity and pride. Till there's only bitterness left inside. And every day is a hustle. Arguments are settled with muscle. Till you're 6 feet deep by 3 feet wide. Watch. Children, should life keep on drifting? Something they're smoking or sniffing. Maybe they're trying to forget this life of misery and regret. No one to come to the rescue except Capleton and Bushu. So they boom boxes the Lego. The drum out voices in there, so they're crying. They're still crying. They're crying and they're crying. Crying and they're crying. Yeah, yeah. Voices from the ghetto. Santa short of death from gripe. Life does rape, dignity and pride. Till there's only bitterness left inside. And every day is a hustle. Arguments are settled with muscle. Till you're 6 feet deep by 3 feet wide. Watch. Children, should life keep on drifting? Something they're smoking or sniffing. Maybe they're trying to forget this life of misery and regret. No one to come to the rescue except Capleton and Bushu. So they boom boxes the Lego. The drum out voices in there, so they're crying. They're still crying. They're crying and they're crying. Crying and they're crying. Yeah, yeah. Voices from the ghetto. Crying. 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 Yeah. Voices from the ghetto.
Singing Sandra, the classic, Voices from the Ghetto. I play that for them tonight. I play that for them tonight. I play that for them tonight. Voices from the Ghetto. Voices from the Ghetto. Well, as was expected, the Chronicle has made me the chairman of what they call the Scrapeheads. About an hour ago, it was drawn to my attention. And I know they were coming. Voices from the Ghetto, Sister Sandra. And I know they're listening. And I'm teaching them as I always do. Voices from the Ghetto. Good evening to all of you. Good night to some of you. Good afternoon to others of you. Welcome to tonight's edition of Politics 101. Welcome to tonight's edition of Politics 101. Oh yes, it's there on the screen. Hinds says scrapes are young soldiers. Yes, Assessor. Destruction represents torches of freedom. I didn't say destruction represents torches of freedom. I said the acts of my people on Monday night and before represent torches of freedom. So they're on me again. You see, and they went on, they give me full coverage of what I said on Tuesday night and Wednesday night on this program. I don't hide. Working People's Alliance co-leader David Hinds has shown his full support behind the scrapes responsible for the recent wave of looting, destruction, and terror that rocked the nation. Hey, hey, why? Hinds described Monday night's riots not as criminal acts, but as a transformative uprising, and referred to the lawless destructions as torches of freedom. Hey. The Alliance for Change and several newly resurfaced opposition factions issued a joint statement on Wednesday urging a shift from criminalization to the empowerment of so-called scrapes. Hinds went further, unapologetically embracing the chaos that unfolded across parts of the country and denouncing middle-class critics of the violence. And they quoted me, "What we saw on Monday night were torches of freedom," Hinds declared during his Wednesday night commentary, Politics 101. He referred to the fires and road blockages that swept through several communities following the death of 11-year-old Adriana Young. They quote me again, "They're not thugs. They're not scrapeheads. They're young soldiers. They speak for me." They get me right there. The thing is, they put a headline and then they quote me what I actually say, which do not support the headline. But you all know what they're up to. You see, they want to pull me in for the incitement of terror. I'm ready. I'm ready. I am not going to sit here and allow the PPP to get me to denounce young black people. That is what they were after. They got Nigel Hughes and others to do it. To say that what happened on Monday night, blocking roads, was wrong. Well, one black man is not going to go with the crowd. That's me. The blocking of the roads, the setting fire to debris were acts of defiance that I support. It's a way of poor people, the voices from the ghetto, expressing themselves. They say I support looting. They say I support looting. Yet, when they go down to quote me, they quote me as saying that I am not interested in looters. I did not send them there. Hinds support looting, but they are quoting Hinds. Here is Hinds' support for looting. And they're quoting Hinds. I am not condemning one African. I will not let them take my words and turn it into condemnation of my people. The looters, that's not my business. I didn't send them there. Chronicle is quoting me correct. Yet in the headline, they're saying I support looters, but then quoting me as saying the looters, that's not my business. I didn't send them there. Here is what is happening. They get these little girls many little girls at Chronicle and put them to write these stories. And I think the little girls sabotaging them because they're giving them the headline. But the people are quoting me correctly. The PPP leaders give them the headline. Hinds support violence and mayhem. And then the young people quote me correct. Looters, that's not my business. I didn't send them there. Tell me if that is support for looters. I mean, you all see the people we have for government? But what bothered them is that I didn't follow the middle class crowd and condemn people. I am not going to condemn black people. Not tonight. Not today. And as I said last night and the night before, they are going to use my words against my own people. I will never give them that opportunity. And that's what hot in them may come from boxing. A box may come from. I am fearless. I will not let the likes of the PPP set trap for me to walk in. All they want is for black leaders to condemn black poor people. That's all they want. And I'm surprised that some of my brothers fell for that trap. It's better they shut them out. So what hurt them? They didn't get this black man, this African, this Guyanese, this proud Caribbean man to condemn the voices from the ghetto. Yes. Like C.L.R. James did with Toussaint and Bookman and Dessalines and their band of fighters. He turned them into Jacobins, the black Jacobins. He humanized them. When white people were writing and saying the leaders of the Haitian Revolution were thugs, C.L.R. James said, no. If you who made the French Revolution call yourself Jacobins, well, you all are white Jacobins. They fought for black freedom. They're black Jacobins. My young brothers and sisters who have been on the streets for the past week are freedom fighters. I'm giving you all another headline chronicle. They're freedom fighters. And they speak for the vast majority of African people and even some non-African people. I am not going to condemn. I'm not using my God-given talent to condemn my brothers and sisters. I am not doing it, Barajagdio. I'm not doing it, Orphan Ali. I'm not doing it. You all can send all you all soldier and police for me. I am not doing it. Look somewhere else. I am not going to allow you all to use my words against my people. Take that. A box may come from. We are in the struggle of our lives. And I am making sure that I stay on the right side of the struggle. I'm staying on the side of the powerless. I'm staying on the side of the sufferers. They can put 50 more headlines in the Chronicle. I'm standing firm. I'm standing firm. I'm saying our people who are on the streets, some of them are on the streets tonight, in all parts of the world. They're not thugs, they're not scrapers. They're human beings with souls, with dignity, with hearts that are bleeding. Sometimes black man, especially those of us who get little book sense, we clap trap to the gallery. We play to the gallery and we throw people under the bus. I ain't doing that. I ain't doing that. Not tonight. Not ever. Not ever. Not tonight. Not ever. I am not throwing my people under the bus. I knew that's what they were looking for. I knew. We refrained from commenting on the ongoing developments surrounding the death of young Adriana Young. As a mature political party, we recognized exceedingly early that coming on the heels of the double murder of the two young men in Linden, this incident had the capacity to gather steam beyond its specific manifestation. Hence, our decision to adopt a wait-and-see approach. Now, a week after the child's disappearance, has ignited a national crisis which has forced the government to institute a limited state of emergency in the form of a curfew. The question that the country must confront is why the death of a working class child has galvanized a national movement that has spilled over into the Guyanese diaspora. Unfortunately, neither the government, the political opposition, nor civil society has mustered the courage to address this question in a forthright and serious manner. To do so would cause us to question some settled assumptions about where our country is headed. That all of us have become intoxicated with a weird and dangerous notion of Guyanese exceptionalism arising out of our new petro-state status is an understatement. Adriana's death has laid bare a collision of forces and impulses in our society, which we would rather address as isolated aberrations rather than interconnected and interrelated phenomena with ugly undertones and overtones. It took the mysterious death of a child to jolt our nation into the brutal realization that the unprofessionalism of the police force is deeply rooted in the manifest dysfunction of Guyana's governance, its human rights regime, its social relations, its ethno-racial relations, and our general desire to fool ourselves about our progress as a unified nation of shared values. Adriana's death has taught us the sobering lesson that Guyana is a dysfunctional state that is quickly becoming a failed state, of which she, Adriana, is the latest victim. WPA does not have to repeat the chronicle of events that have emerged since the little girl disappeared. All of you have been following it blow by blow each day in the past week. The police instantly invoked its standard operating procedure of politicizing crime fighting. Protection of elite interests took precedence over the safety of a child. The false story put out by the police of the female child entering the car of an adult male is loaded with social, gender, and racial undertones. I repeat, the false story put out by the police of this female child entering the car of an adult male is loaded with social, gender, and racial undertones. WPA says the planting of this story was not accidental. The president's hasty plunge into the fray followed the well-known script of the political boss using his office to sanitize the dirty deeds of the police. The obscene attempt to bribe the family into silence and to threaten potential protests with state violence exposed a vicious autocratic hand. But this time the people had had enough. The bottom of the bucket of tricks fell off. With the scent of the blood of Ronaldo Peters and Ken Fujine fresh in the air, the public consciousness linked Adriana's death to the long trail of state-facilitated murder of powerless citizens. The linkage between police cover-up and government's apparent turning of the proverbial blind eye could not be concealed any longer. What followed is what WP had long alerted the government and the nation to. Like a massive tide shoved by a force of nature, Guyanese of all stripes took to the streets, to social media, and to anywhere from where they could be heard. Obviously, taken by surprise, the government let loose the very offending police on its own citizens at Lenoro in front of the public hospital. As they did in Linden, the police released volleys of bullets into unarmed crowds. The people scattered but regrouped in acts of defiance. A people's uprising was on the move. It is against this background that the events of Monday night, must be seen. WPA rejects the thesis of the government and some sections of the political opposition that the events of that night were the work of thugs, scrapeheads, looters, and robbers. For the WPA, the events of that night reflected the frustrations of a section of the population that has become tired of being beaten by the government and state. They did what human beings do when cornered by oppressive blows. It was a night of collective release. That sections of the opposition have mimicked government propaganda by describing the events of that night in ugly terms, befitting of non-human beasts, is most distressing. WPA cannot associate itself with those socially and racially bigoted statements. WPA asks, since when blocking roads in public protest is a socio-political sin? Our party has no hesitation in saluting the general protest of the people in the various forms as representing the fullness of Walter Rodney's praxis of self-activity of the people. WPA throws its full support behind the continuing mass action of Guyanese in and out of Guyana. Stand up and stand firm. The voice of the people is the voice of justice. Do not let the threat of bullets deter you. Guyana is Adriana, and Adriana is Guyana. Like others, WPA does not promote destruction of public and private property as normal forms of protest. But when people are faced with the bullets of the state, it is understandable that they would reach for extra conventional forms of retaliation. WPA therefore condemns the police military assault on unarmed citizens as the root cause of the nature of Monday night's actions. WPA also rejects attempts by the government and sections of the opposition to link the looting and robberies which took place to the general protest. WPA say we have to separate the two things. These acts of looting are regrettable, but it is well known that legitimate protesters have no control over such activities. WPA is also concerned about the alleged acid attacks on school children. We await more information before making further comments. But for now, we say whether the attacks were privately or politically motivated, they are reprehensible. We know that nobody has been arrested yet. We await more information before we make further comments. Where do we go from here? WPA supports the calls for the resignation or the firing of the Commissioner of Police and other heads of the police force. But we feel the problem is much more fundamental than firing the top police officers. We also hear calls for the professionalization of the police force. But we hasten to observe that for reforms to have any transformative effect, the police force must be depoliticized. And that depoliticization is the prisoner of a political elite which benefits from the politicization of the police force. Like electoral reform and other needed constitutional reforms, police reform is not a straightforward issue. WPA must, as a matter of urgency, join the call for a full and impartial investigation of the circumstances of Adriana Young's death. The results of the postmortem is not the end of the story. Like most of Guyana, we have no faith in government's investigative agency and agencies. Guyana must not rest until there is real justice for this child's family. But justice must not be a minimalist outcome characterized by money and crocodile tears. It must be grounded in laws and a commitment to protect the lives and well-being of all our children, regardless of color, creed, sex, or social status. WPA extends its heartfelt condolences to the immediate and extended family of this beautiful young soul. May the ancestors welcome her with open arms and put her soul to work for the cause of justice. That was the WPA statement, which was released earlier today, outlining our take on the situation. In a sense, saying that we saw it coming, that the young lady's death must not be seen in isolated terms. It's not every day that when a young child dies, a national movement is created. That doesn't happen every day. And sensible people, committed people, scholars, leaders must ask why. What is it about this death? What is it about this death of a child that caused this movement? And the lazy leaders that we have, the lazy scholars that we have, don't want to engage that subject. Many children have died before in mysterious circumstances. We didn't have the outcry that we have now. And when something like this happens, the nation must stop and ask, what is going on? Why? Why? And that is what the WPA has been trying to do. That is what I have been trying to do this week, is to help our nation understand that sometimes an event becomes the occasion for something bigger than the event itself. I hear some people saying Adriana wouldn't want this. How do they know what Adriana would want? Adriana is dead. If Adriana's murder leads to the cleansing of Guyana, so there will be no more murders and cover-up of murders of young people, of children, of old people, then our sacrifice will not be in vain. Why are we putting words in the mouth of the dead? The reason we are doing that is because we don't want to speak truth to power. So we are hiding behind a murdered little child. And that's cowardice. All those who are saying Adriana wouldn't want this and Adriana wouldn't want that, and they're cowards. They're hiding behind the corpse of a child. Something has been happening in our society that remained suppressed. And that murder of that child stirred deep in the confines of our collective Guyanese belly, our collective Guyanese soul. And it is the mixing of the death of the child with those pent-up frustrations rubbing up together that poof jumped out and surprised all of us. In many regards, we in the WPA are not surprised. We've been saying on this program, we've been warning that this country is going to explode. Dr. Jeffrey has been on there. He has said it several times. We have said it. Our country will explode the way in which it's going. We warned them, but no. They didn't believe they were dealing with human beings. They believed they're dealing with scrapeheads and thugs. All of us are scrapeheads and thugs. And so you don't attribute anything logical to scrapeheads and thugs. It is logical that if you beat people, day in, day out, at some time they're going to fight back. That's logical, that's normal, that's human. And the fact that the PPP government didn't know that, and some of the black middle class didn't know that, is the real tragedy of our nation. And so when our people begin to assemble in the open space, and when they shot at those people in front of the hospital, the sight of a young man with a police shield dodging bullets for the world to see, the inevitable had arrived. My job as a scholar, as an activist, is to interpret for our people what they're doing, to take their experiences and try to explain it. That's what I've been doing for this week, Mr. Chronicle, Miss Chronicle. I've been teaching you all. And it was the energies, the collective energies of all of us. All of us. Not just the people who were on the front lines, but the rest of us who were not on the front lines. They were acting for all of us. And like the woman or the man who's abused day in, day out, one day you wake up and you broke up the whole house. You broke up window. You go outside and you broke up the car windshield. Because that moment came. You're going to buy it back later. That is what we saw on the streets on Monday night. It was not scrape heads. It is not people wake up on Monday night and say, we're going to go and block some road and burn some tire and shut down the country. No, human phenomenon doesn't operate like that. It's been piling up. But because we are too blind to see, or because we make assumptions of our people, we did not see the pot was boiling. So when it reached that point and it shoved the lid off, we are running around wondering what has hit us. Our people took over Guyana on Monday night. And they turn to the rulers and say, we got more power than you all have. We have people's power. And there comes a time when no bullet can stop us. We took over the country for one night and we give it back to you all and say, take warning that if you all do not start to do better by our people, there will be more of Monday nights. And it's so beautiful. Despite what happened on Monday night, our people continue to go on the streets with their candles. Light the candle, sing your Sankey. Peter was a fisherman fishing in the river. Peter was a fisherman fishing in the river. Cast his net and he followed Christ. Light your candle and sing your Sankey. It is the spirit of the people rising. And our political leaders don't understand that because they are not spiritual. They're not spiritual. So they can't understand when the spirit is moving. Oh, they're blocking up road. And they're not, those people weren't blocking roads. Those people were not blocking roads. Those people were blocking the devil from encroaching further. They were not blocking roads. Like Christ who turned water into wine. Those people turn the night into day by scratching the matches onto the debris the debris, the old thing they light up to turn the night into day. Miracles, social miracles. That's what our people are doing. But the government and some of our black middle class are too dumb to understand what is happening right before their very eyes, because they don't understand their own people. They've never visited a spiritual service of their people. They've never been to a deep cultural to understand how our people move spiritually. So all they can see is blocking roads. All they can see is blocking roads. And then they start talking about looting. Oh, sane people, rational people get up and say, we are going to go out and loot. That's the lack of respect that they have for us. There's the human part of us. There's the part of our instinct. There are sections in our community who wait for these things to happen. Looting was not created on Monday night. Looting been there from the beginning. Those of you who know anything, yeah, you know, when dead happen, we just sing a song. He not dead yet, he not dead yet. Bam bam, he not dead yet. He not dead yet, them a fight for legacy. Bam bam, even when death happen in families. When part at the family mourning, somebody a fetch out the radiogram, somebody a fetch out the bed sheet. It's human. Why are we elevating looting to the essence of what happened on that night? That is why I said I did not send the looters. My business is not looters. I do not support looters. I do not socialize looters. I do not teach looters to loot. But my job is to put it in perspective. Because the very loot in itself points to a deficiency in our society. 50% of our people are living in poverty. 50% are living on $1,100 or less. When you see the looting, if you have any sense in your head, you will say, boy, we have to do something about poverty. Ending poverty will not end looting. It will substantially decrease it. Those people are not looting because they were born to loot. So that you haul upon them, get off the road, stop looting. What kind of fools are you? The failure to exercise our minds and to understand what is happening around us. The average mother, the average father, if she or he sees his son or her son looting, they will haul upon them and say, boy, stop it. Our people don't condemn looting. We didn't make looting. We are the victims of looting who loot the treasury. Who's looting the treasury every day? Ask Terence Campbell about the Natural Resource Fund. Who loots it every day? Who's looting the Bank of Justice? The government is the biggest looter. Who in bright daylight been bulldozing private property and public property? The government. the government, did the black middle class stand up and tell the government, don't do it? They write nice words. But as soon as our people do something out of the way, we jump on them. We jump on them. Because we have no faith in our people. Who in their right mind would say looting is right? But we have to understand why it's happening. And we mustn't throw the baby with the bathwater. Our function is to ensure that the scope for lootings are decreased, and we do that by decreasing poverty. Are you surprised if 50% of your population live on less than $5.50 US per day? Are you surprised that they're looting? Are you surprised that they're looting? Come on, people. Come on. If you give your children spoiled milk to drink, are you surprised that they run into the toilet every 2 minutes? You impoverish a nation with all the wealth you have, and you are surprised that people are looting, and the way you answer them is to round them up and throw them in jail. They're going to go in jail and come out and continue to loot. You're sending them to jail to punish them. You're not concerned with the causes of the looting. If you're concerned with the cause of looting, you wouldn't round up hundreds of them and send them in jail. Guyana has become a penal settlement. The government has declared war on the poor. And some of you all salt and pepper mouth so-called leaders are giving it your blessing. Not David Hinds. Not David Hinds. Those people that are sending to jail there, they're going to come out and terrorize us more. They're not interested in cleansing our nation. And Chronicle want to tell me that I supporting the scrapes and I am the chairman of the scrapes. All you done say that David Hinds can't get one vote. Nobody that follow him. But now, when people organize themselves and show the nation who is boss, show the rulers who is boss, you all want to blame David Hinds. All I do is teach. All I do is give my people strength. All I do is try to impart some consciousness. You think I want to socialize people who will come and rob me when I'm sleeping in the night? Oh no. You think I can socialize people who can come and burn me house down when I sleep? Oh no. Credit me with more sense than that. But I am not going to take a dagger and plunge it in the heart of some or all of our misguided young people, because I understand their misguidedness is not native to them. This young child's murder has given Guyana another chance to clean up ourselves But our government is not interested in doing that. Our government is interested in maintaining its power. This is a central question before us. The central question in Tushen, at Lenora, in front of the hospital on Monday night, in New York, in New Jersey, in Suriname, in all over the world, England, Maryland. The central question that face Guyanese and Guyanese must answer is who controls the enormous wealth that is floating up from the bottom of the ocean. That is what this is all about. And I can't understand why our opposition leaders are so timid. So timid. They don't have to be timid. But they're so timid. Always trying to satisfy the oppressor and never satisfying our people. Always trying to satisfy the oppressor because they want to look good. They're my friends, my brothers. I continue to hold them as my brothers, but they're wrong. They're wrong. Condemn the looting. Condemn the fire that you all say burning people's house. Condemn that. Do not condemn the blocking of roads, because you all know. Many of you all block roads every day to accumulate your middle class wealth. You all block the proverbial road every damn day. But you all want to deny agency to poor people. The acid that is thrown on the East Indian children, and I'm being blunt, not children, East Indian children, because it's East Indian children the acid was thrown on. I am waiting because I want to know who threw the acid. Were they protesters who threw the acid? What was the motivation of the people who threw the acid? I don't know. I have not seen much of the news in the last 6 hours. I see they have two people on a motorbike. So they must have the identity of these people. Have they arrested them? You see, I don't want to say it's a political act when it may not be a political act. But I understand that when you do something like that in the political atmosphere, you cannot be vexed if it is construed as a political act. And so if Indian Guyanese see the throwing of the acid on the Indian children as a political act, I am not quarreling with you all. But the same mouth that you all calling the throwing of the acid a political act that must be condemned, you all watching a little girl and the postmortem says she drowned, and you all say, "I drowned, she drowned, nothing else now happened to her." Are you done the story? But when you all children are hurt, you all are saying it's political. When Adriana is murdered, you all are not seeing it as political. And the double standards, and you all black people sometimes go along with it. I understand why Indian people will see it as a political act, because when you throw acid onto Indian children with all that happening on the road, what else you expect the people to think? They have a right to think that it's political. It may not be directly political, but they have a right. But by God, if they see that as political, why they don't see The whole Adriana thing as political. I hear some of them Indian leaders talking, oh, parents must watch their children when they go to pool. And parents, they still hold on to the fact that this little child drowned in this pool. Because once you say she drowned in the pool, story done. Story done. Black people have no right to be on the street. Lock them up. Because they're protesting over nothing. That is why they want us to buy the notion that the child drowned in the pool. You see, I have not been talking about postmortem. I don't know nothing about it. If cause of death is by drowning, where you drown, how you drown. You don't go in a pool for drowned. People just drowned in whatever the bathing thing. People drowned. You can take a child, push your head down in a bucket of water and drown she. But they want Adriana thing to be not political. And some of the foolish black people, this is not politics, it's damn politics. Shut your salt and pepper mouth. It is politics. There is big P politics and there's little p politics. Everything in life is about politics. So Adriana thing is not politics. But the attack on the two Indian girls is politics. But I am saying the attack on the two Indian girls, East Indian people have a right to see it as political, even if it's not directly political. But you also must see Adriana's death as political, even if it's not directly political. What is good for the goose must be good for the gander. And I cannot support throwing acid in the faces of children. I lived, as all of us lived 5 years ago, when Indian Guyanese, not two of them, all crowd of them at Bushlat, throw the equivalent of acid on black children, stone them. No, I am not saying because Indian people they do that to black children, black people must now do that to Indian children, and that's stupid. But Indian people must not be two-faced. Or you throw acid on black children at Bushlat 5 years ago. And you are pretending now that it's only black people can throw acid. You all are too damn hypocritical. I'm saying that it is. When black people are being hypocrites, I call them out. And when Indian people are being hypocrites, I call you all out too. We live in a nation that facilitates attacking children. Whether it's Adriana, whether it's the two little girls their man throws, whether it's Ronaldo, who was just 21 years old, he's barely a child. He was still a child. And you all separate things. This one is not political. Oh, well, you don't know. But this one is political. And it is that hypocrisy that is practiced on both sides of the aisle, among Africans and among Indians, that is partly responsible. I watch some of you all for 5 years. Oh God, when them black people gonna put boots on the ground, we want boots on the ground. David, you all talking too much. I always know it's not me gonna put boots on the ground. I know when boots reach on the ground, some of you are going to be running and wriggling for get out of the way. Oh God, they mustn't loot. It was not about looting. If you have 100 soldiers and 10 of them loot, are you going to judge the 990 by the actions of the 10? And that's what the PPP want us to do. And a couple of my brother politicians fall into that trap. Black man mouth can sweet, too sweet sometimes. Too sweet. I mean, the words roll out. And not thinking how your words will be used against your own people. So I know the chronicle was coming. Me read book. Me know for use words. The headline say one thing, but when they come to quote me for support the headline, they can't find the quotation. Of course. I don't know about scrapehead. I don't know what is that. I know a lot of our young people are socially challenged, economically challenged. And that is why we have put proposal on the table to deal with poverty. Because if we deal with poverty, we reduce the possibilities for looting. And whenever I hear the PPP send their people to loot and so on, and maybe that is true, but you know, I really don't pay attention to them things. Yeah? I really don't. If you expect the PPP to sit down when you are fighting and that they're not going to fight back, you're stupid. So if somebody tell me PPP sending infiltrators, I'm not too worried, you know. I would say to the AFC and the PNC and the opposition, you all also should infiltrate PPP. The fact that you're all not infiltrating PPP shows that you all are not ready for this fight. If they're infiltrating you, are you crying? We are going out because they're going to infiltrate. No. Fighters don't cry. They infiltrate you, infiltrate them. Me politics different. Maybe that's why they say I see leader the scrapehead. I don't know. You infiltrate me, you're doing your work. I'm going to infiltrate you back. You undermine me, I undermine you back. I ain't crying. Our leaders are, you know, I love them, Don't get me wrong. I love them. I love them. I'm not saying anything here to Nigel publicly that I will not say to him privately. When I see him, I'm going to say, you know, I'll tell Nigel, you wrong talk, man. You wrong talk. They go buy a box now, we call them bad speech. Yeah, not because you talk bad English, you wrong talk. And again, in bad speech. No, man. If you see your people engage in a certain behavior, and you are of the belief that your people are human beings who are essentially good, but you see they're doing some not so good things, when you know Jesus Christ, you're going to kick them out of the dance? Are you not going to get to the root of it? Why are you giving the PPP whip for beat your own picnic? Why are you giving the PPP whip to beat your children? I mean, come on. You behave bad? Auntie Gloria see you? She march you home. She lodge complaint for you. Your mama gives you satisfaction. She ever beat you in front, Auntie Gloria. When Auntie Gloria got you, bust your ass. There's wisdom. You do not give the enemy the whip to beat your people. For what? For two Indian vote? Thank you, Diana. Thank you, young people. If they believe you all are scrapes, and so I suppose they're saying that we have to get psychiatrists for you because you had them good, so we have to get psychiatrists. No, David, I don't believe you all need psychiatrists. WPA don't believe you all need psychiatrists. WPA believe that you all need wealth, guaranteed wealth to take you all out of poverty. Nothing wrong with your head. We have to think programs. You know, when we read these books, we come up with these things. Yeah? We have to think. Nothing wrong with poor people children. Some of them much more sane than how it is. Who not poor people. They get more sense than how we. Their instincts are sharper than our own. But some of the other we believe that they're crazy. So we got to treat them like if they're crazy, there's crazy people. I'm saying, whatever you call them scrapehead, they're not crazy. They're victims, as Singing Sandra says, they are victims of unjust laws, unjust practices, unjust policies. And when they get an opportunity, they announce to us that we need our governance system, our economic system, our policies to address their plight. Not to make big statements that are crazy, and we might carry them for see a psychiatrist. They're not crazy. I stand with them. Yes, Chronicle, I stand with the scrapeheads. I stand with a revolutionary action. I regret their actions, the actions of a tiny minority of them. I regret the actions of a tiny minority of them. I regret those actions. But I am not going to stain an entire movement by the actions of a tiny minority. I am not going to do it. Jack Dio is not bright more than me, and he can make me dance to Kankawa music. He's not bright more than me. And you can say, oh, David is a boss. But not bright more than me. And because he's not bright more than me not go dance to kanka music. And them bright people we get from we side, allowing themselves to be caught in a web of deceit by the PPP. Why? Because they want to go down in history of being politically correct. I'm saying it as it is. I'm saying it as it is. We've got work to do. The work is going on. The work is going on. The candles are being lit as we speak. All over the diaspora. Only last week they're telling me, oh, New Amsterdam going for the PPP. And you see all them New Amsterdam people? They not stand up one place with a candle. They walk. They walk. The road made to walk on Carnival Day. Constable, I know, but I have to say, any steelman man venture to cross my path is a long funeral to the Royal Hospital. Let we walk. Let we march. We are marching to Zion. Beautiful, beautiful Zion. We are marching upwards to Zion. Let me go. Let me march. That's what we are doing. The shuffling feet, rhythmically, the rhythmic and the rhythm of justice and freedom, tapping God's earth, chanting ancient chants and bringing them into the present as we confront Babylon. Because it's only we. It's only we can do it. All I have is my little black soul. All you have is your little black soul or your little brown soul. But soul force is more powerful than the wicked force of the oppressor's guns. And those men who are pointing the guns are black like me. Ultimately, they will have to put those guns down and come over on our side. They are our sons. They are our sons. They come from our seed, from the womb of our motherhood. We are moving because, as C.L.R. James says, we have a date with destiny. We have a date with destiny. This is a dark time, my love. All around the land, brown beetles crawl about. The shining sun is hidden in the sky. Red flowers bend their heads in awful sorrow. This is the dark time, my love. It's a carnival of misery, dark metal and tears. But the dark time will fade into the background by the sheer force of people's power. And the sky shall brighten. The rivers shall roll to our rhythm as we march to our destiny with freedom. Destiny with freedom. 2 man and more.